right, enough Real Madrid. How about some quick hits instead? Manchester United have their interim manager through the end of the season.
Yay.
I'm excited. I'm
This
hyped.
again.
I'm amped. Sam, Jules, and I have weighed in on Carrick time and again. I want to hear your take.
How you have strong takes about Michael Carrick? Because I really don't. I mean, the person stood in Manchester United's dugout could be any one of 16 different former players, and to me, they're all the same. In fact, they might as well just line all 16 up at this point, right? I don't think they had to choose between Carrick and
You
Solskjaer.
don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would be substantially worse than Michael Carrick?
I think Carrick, Solskjaer, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Paul Scholes, they should all be stood on the sideline and they should all be shouting at the players, just do better, because that is probably what they're going to take from this. I'm personally excited to see a slightly different formation and maybe some of those midfielders come to life. I think Kobbie Mainoo will enjoy this, but ultimately I don't think this is going to move the needle for them, and I don't think it's going to make them substantially better or substantially worse.
I have no idea. I don't follow the championship. All I can do is look at the table and know that he took over a team that were doing really badly in Middlesbrough, got them into the playoffs, then he finished 8th, then he finished 10th, and then they sacked him. That's all I know.
It's a tough landscape down there. It's a tough landscape.
What I do know, though, is that what you cannot have a plan and stick with it. Do not let the commentariat tell you, give him the job.
Yeah, and don't let us tell you to change formation.
Yes,
and don't tell us directly that you're not doing something because of what we said.
Exactly.
Right, Arsenal beat Chelsea away 3-2 in the League Cup semi-final first leg. Gab, this was Liam Rossigna, another chance to look at him. What did you take away?
A bit like the FA Cup, I took very little, because is it still Chelsea when there's no Moises Caicedo and there's no Cole Palmer and there's no center forward? I mean, when
it was quite under strength, wasn't it?
When I see Marc Guiu out there, and then on top of that, Robert Sanchez makes 2 massive mistakes on the goals. Now, this is not taking anything away from Arsenal. Arsenal, I thought, were good, but you don't learn anything, because surely this isn't going to be what the team looks like when they're ready. I thought Esteval looked willing. Guiu, again, reminds you why I don't think he's at this level, even though he was the Conference League top scorer. From Arsenal's perspective, every time I see Kai Havertz play, I get a little bit happier. But it's going to be tough to turn around. But no away goals in the League Cup, so stay tuned for the return leg.
Yeah, fair enough. Not getting much from Rossigna right now, but I thought it was a good night for Gyökeres, if we can just give him a little bit of credit, because he's had a tough year.
Oh yeah, it was really hard to put that one away. Yes, I'm being sarcastic. Garnacho, that's what you meant. Garnacho, 2 goals. Sam, we're not done. We have more quick hits. Manchester City win their League Cup semi-final, beating Newcastle away 2-0. Sam, Pep is furious about that endless VAR check over the disallowed Semenyo goal, which ultimately wasn't that relevant. But hey, can you cheer him up?
Yeah, I'll cheer him up by saying that it wasn't relevant for a start. They won 2-0 regardless. So I understand that 6-minute wait was really irritating, but City came through this game regardless. This is one of the hardest games in the English calendar, Newcastle away. It's really difficult to play against this team in that stadium, and they did have to ride their luck a little bit in terms of chances created, but they came through it. The most important part for me is the nature of the team that came through it.
Oh, you're going to go all Kusanov, Ake Lane on me.
For sure, because the last time Pep changed the entire team, do you remember the Leverkusen fiasco in the Champions League?
When he glitched.
And we basically got to the point where he has 14 players he can trust to use his new system, and no one else. Well, now we get a second bite of the cherry, and there's a bunch of players here. Semenyo, to start with, has only been a Man City player for like a week, but Max Allain, Kusanov, James Trafford in goal played really well. There's a bunch of players here, Nico O'Reilly, who have not been through this journey of winning trophies with Man City, but have now stepped up on a really important occasion and shown that Pep has a bit of depth. So if I was him, I'd be delighted.
Not just any important occasion, but the League Cup semi-final
For sure, absolutely. Right, well.
Back to the FA Cup. Liverpool are through after beating Barnsley 4-1. But Sam, this game felt a lot closer until the final minutes.
Thanks to Dominic Szoboszlai. Yeah.
Yes.
Barnsley's best forward. I mean, what a night for him. He scored an absolute screamer early on. Like, what a strike. The commentator said you can't hit a ball better than that. And usually when they say that, they're wrong. But this time they might have been right. It was an exquisite strike. And then this back heel that he tries that tees up the Barnsley goal. I mean, I just don't understand what he's thinking. It doesn't matter that he got it wrong. The problem is he tried it in the first place. So yes, it looked a bit tight. And bear in mind, Barnsley hit the post in the first 30 seconds of this game too. So this was tighter than the scoreline suggests.
At least Mo Salah's coming back, maybe.
Yeah, well, maybe it'll help. I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? Right.
Sam, it's your debut on the show, and you're a Villa fan, so I can't pass up the opportunity to ask you about Harvey Elliott. I'm a big fan. He's one of my favorite players. Arne Slot, who I also like, doesn't seem to like him very much, which is why he sent him on loan to Aston Villa. Unai Emery, who I have massive respect for professionally, but I think he's a bit of an oddball as a person, shares Slot's view because he never plays the guy, and he's on loan at Villa. Where do you stand? What happened?
Yeah, bad news for us because you like him, I like him, but the men in charge don't seem to. Although we will caveat that with regards to Unai Emery, because from what I've taken from the situation, there wasn't total agreement between manager and recruitment staff and
Monchi?
Emery and Monchi on whether or not Harvey Elliott should be signed. At the time, it was right late at the window. Villa hadn't done much business. They were kind of shopping around in the last couple of days. There were big links to Lucas Paquetá, and we know that Emery he does tend to. I know it was not a good idea, but you're looking at me like
it's more the fact that y'all don't have any money. You're under a settlement agreement with Villa, and what
I think
and you think you're going to go sign Lucas Paquetá for 60 million
was about 50,
as opposed to Harvey Elliott for 0?
Yeah, I think this may have been the message passed back down to Emery. But Emery likes experienced players. He thinks they're more trustworthy. He thinks they're more consistent. Obviously, Villa financially are not in that position. And hey, look at the business so far in January. It proves the point because they're signing 17 and 19-year-olds for lower sums so we know what the situation is there. But it seems like Elliott came regardless of whether or not Unai Emery wanted him. But we know that if he hits 10 appearances, they have to pay about £35 million for him. And Emery has decided that money could be better spent elsewhere. So Harvey Elliott is stuck on 6 appearances in all competitions. And he hasn't been seen for months. He's trapped. And what should have happened is on the 1st of January, these two clubs should have got their heads together and decided whatever financial penalty is applicable between them, cancelled this loan or taken the obligation out and allow Harvey Elliott to play 15 minutes at least off the bench multiple times and play some football because he must add some value to the team.
This is what I struggle with because Olabe and Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes, 2 of those 3 I know personally, are very smart people.
Very smart people.
So I'm sure they did sit down and said, is there some kind of solution here? My solution would be bring him back. He's not allowed to play for anybody other than Liverpool or Villa this season.
Or a calendar year league like MLS, or he could go to Japan technically. But,
yes, okay.
He
could go to Mauritius on holiday too. But the reality is there is a solution here. I think Liverpool need him. And you go to Arne Slot and say, hey, big boy Arne, you had this guy around. It's not like you locked him in the toilet while you were here. You just didn't start him. Especially if you're going to start playing this diamond or whatever you're going to do going forward with Isak out and unsure of Salah, Elliott can cover multiple positions for you. We need him.
Yeah.
And he's free. And he's our player.
Yeah, because he's definitely free because we already have him.
The whole point.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, I think there's a case for Liverpool to utilise him as a squad member. I think there's a case to take the obligation out of the loan and for him to become a squad member, a proper squad member for Villa. I see 2 ways out. I'm just surprised that we're halfway through the window and neither of those routes have been taken. But I guess we'll see. We've got 15
Probably negotiating.
We've got 15 or so more days left. I'm sure it's complicated, more complicated than I could imagine.
Sam, I have to ask you about the 7-match ban Swindon Town's Ollie Clark got for, quote, highly invasive, unquote, and, quote, violating, unquote, acts against 2 Cardiff City players on the pitch. This was a while back. I don't want to let my imagination go to some really dark places, but it already has.
Yeah, and you're making my
What did he
imagination
do?
go
Yes,
to-
I want you to look. I'm not English. I don't understand what you guys do. So
This is my debut show, you know that.
I know. So
This is-
explain to me. What highly invasive things do you do on the football pitch to each other?
As a culture.
What has he done?
I don't know.
What do you think he's done?
I don't know. I suspect he may have used his fingers. 1 or 2.
Put his finger in the other guy's ear? Mouth?
Lower.
Nose?
Lower.
Okay.
Lower, possibly.
All right.
What do you think?
I maybe played amateur proctologist. I don't know.
Yeah.
But what I find hilarious, and by the way, there is a case of this before. I think it was in the Copa America involving a Chilean player. I don't want to name him because I'm not 100%. I'm 99% sure I know who it was.
This
but,
rings a bell for sure.
I find it hilarious that they can't just, they're so like stuffy and like, oh no, we have to say highly invasive and violating rather than saying what actually happened. The funny thing is this guy said it was accidental. I'm like, how do you accidentally twice invade somebody's private parts. That's really difficult to do.
It is, especially given presumably this was like at a corner or something, and you get quite close to people. There's a lot of pushing and shoving, and maybe some other things that are happening too.
No.
I mean, this guy's 33 years of age, and I assume that he has played more than one football game at this
Exactly.
point. So I think he knew what he was doing. I would not say it was potentially accidental.
And before you speculate and wonder, as I have, maybe these guys were actually into it. They were not into it because they went. Both of them complained to the referee. One of them said he was so upset he couldn't talk, which makes you wonder how he actually said it. But anyway, I'm done reading FA disciplinary reports.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, look, you may or may not have noticed, but Microsoft have signed a back of shirt sponsorship deal with Manchester United for all of their cup games. Unfortunately for them, that is not looking like great value for money, is it?
No, it's to do with it's Microsoft's AI product, Copilot.
Yeah.
And of course, they ended up only getting 2 games out of it because they lost in the League Cup and then they lost to the FA Cup. Incidentally, Copilot in the news again recently in your neck of the woods as a Villa fan. Remember the whole story about Maccabi Tel Aviv were supposed to play Villa.
Yep.
The police recommended that they should be banned. There was something to do about it. They used some false information. Apparently they did because they relied on Copilot to find the history. This is reportedly, by the way, to find the history of Tel Aviv fans away.
The chief of police has confirmed this is what has happened. They used Copilot to look at recent Maccabi Tel Aviv European games for evidence of crowd trouble or not.
Right.
And they found, Copilot found a game that West Ham played against Maccabi Tel Aviv.
How did West Ham do?
Well, the problem is
Did Jared Bowen score?
It did not happen. This game was hallucinated by AI and was used in an official police report. That's the problem.
This year, when people talk about the disconnect between police and football fans in this country, here is evidence. You would have thought in the whole Birmingham, or what is it, the Midlands Police Department?
Yeah, West Midlands Police. Yeah.
West Midlands Police, to be one guy that might have a passing interest in football and might say, hey, I don't remember West Ham playing them.
There's got to be a West Ham fan in there. I just went, wait, what?
More likely West Ham fan than a Maccabi Tel Aviv fan.
Yeah.
But anyway, Sam, this brings us to an end. Many big ups on your debut, on your home debut. Unlike Shea Lacey, you did not get sent off, which is a start. Jules is going to be back on Monday. There is so much to talk about from this upcoming weekend. So until then, love the game, love your neighbor, love yourself.